here's where you see the news thing with the Chancellor. The Chancellor. There's the Chancellor right there, played by Lindsay Krause. Lindsay Krause, like I mentioned before, she played the mom in the Indian in the Cupboard, if anyone remembers that movie. She also did play dubbed over Lizette Anthony as the voice of Princess Lisa in Crawl. Yep. I think I've mentioned fact in that movie before, so yep. Yep. You know, I think Lindsay Krause looks like Linda Hamilton, honestly. She kind of looks like her. She was also in the movie The Arrival, if anyone remembers that movie. I might have to find it. I'm gonna have to find it. I think it might still be on YouTube. I don't know. I'll check. Director of photography Robert Ellsworth. Co-producers Gary Granite, Andrew Rona, and Michael Romas. Here's where Spencer goes to work. Here's where Spencer goes to work, and this guy is looking at the telescope, looking up in his telescope. Here's where co-executive producers Bob Weinstein and Harvey Weinstein. Here's where Spencer's off to work. I think Gary's neat. Now, like I mentioned, the city here looks a lot like out of Coruscant from Star Wars, or even like out of Starship Troop. Kind of looks a lot like Coruscant from Star Wars here, except without the cars. They don't look like alien kind of They look more here. They look like pods. They're basically just buses, kind of air buses that people take. I'm pretty sure by Scott Rosenberg. Now, screenplay for this was done by screenplay by Caroline Case and Aaron Kruger and David Twohy. David Twohy, like I said, he was one of the screenwriters on this movie. He also wrote and directed The Arrival, funnily enough. He was also the director of all three Riddick movies, writer and director. Okay, he co-wrote Pitch Black because it was actually a story by Ken and Jim Wheat, but he wrote and directed the other two movies. I kind of call him really the co-creator of the Riddick franchise. Ken and Jim Wheat are the real creators. But David Twohy, you kind of say he kind of contributed a little bit more to Riddick than the Wheat brothers. But they still but they're the real creators of Riddick. I mean, I guess you could say all three of them are really the creators of David Twohy. David Twohy, he did not direct this movie. I mean, this is actually one of the few sci-fi movies that he actually wrote that he didn't direct. The other being Waterworld. Actually, David Twohy wrote a bunch of movies that he didn't actually direct, come to think of it. He was the writer on Warlock and his screenwriting. His first ever fully